I'm Jacqueline Shealy Lewis, and this is Our Point of View Up Close and Personal. And today, our special guest is the one and only Miss Cassandra Green.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
And she's going to be talking to us today about the Moores Ford Bridge lynching reenactment.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's the only one ever in the country?
It is the only annual lynching reenactment in the country.
Okay. So give us a little information on you.
Okay.
Who are you? Who is Miss Cassandra Green?
I am a writer, director, producer. I am the founder of WOW Ministries, which we work with people in domestic violence, human trafficking, bullying, and I use the
Wow.
arts to bring all of those things together.
Okay, okay. So now let's talk a little bit about what was your inspiration for the reenactment.
Okay. I was actually brought in to do the reenactment by Representative Tyrone Brooks and SCLC President Dr. Charles Steele. They actually contacted me and asked me would I be interested in directing the reenactment. And that was 10 years ago, and this year will be my 11th year.
Wow, that's awesome. So was a little bit about your education history. Did you go to school for acting?
No, I did not go to school for acting. My background is business and education.
Okay.
I taught school for like 12 years. I managed businesses for like 17 years. I know I don't look that old.
No, you don't, girl.
But yes, so that was my background. But I always did plays for churches. That was
Okay.
my thing. I started, and I've been writing poetry and other stories since I was maybe 8, 10 years old.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So are you originally from Georgia?
No, I'm a Geechee girl, Charleston, South Carolina, Geechee all
Okay.
day long. Give me some rice and some seafood. Yeah, so no, I'm originally from Charleston. I've been in Atlanta since 1990.
Okay.
And the reason I actually came to Atlanta was because of a situation that I had with racists.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, just tell us a little bit about that. Not too much.
Okay,
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I was living in a neighborhood where there were maybe 2 black families, all the rest were white. An interracial couple moved next door to me. The whites in the neighborhood, which I didn't know there was a group of like Klansmen, racists that lived in the neighborhood, and they started taunting the couple. Because I've always been an activist since I was a teenager, of course I intervened and called NAACP. They got upset with me and started targeting me. I had a sawed-off shotgun pointed at my face while I stood in my doorway and had a white guy to tell me, B, if you don't move out of this neighborhood, we'll kill you.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you mind if I say your age?
Go ahead.
You were 60 years old.
I will be 60 in a couple of months. Hello.
Good. And you experienced this at 60? I'm 56. I've never experienced anything like that.
Oh, yeah. I experienced that, like I said, in 1990, which people have a way of saying those type things don't happen now, but they did in 1990, and that wasn't very long ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And you know what? We're going to take a break, but when we come back, Miss Green is going to talk to us a little bit more, or she's going to start talking to us about the reenactment.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be right back. More with Our Point of View, up close and personal with Miss Cassandra Green.
The fact is, there are over 9,600 roads named Park in the U.S. It's America's most popular street name, but all state agents know that's where the similarity stops. If you're on Park Street in Reno, Nevada, the high winds of the Washoe Zephyr could damage your sighting. And that's very different than living on Park Avenue in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, where ice dams could cause water damage. But no matter what park you live on, one of 10,000 local Allstate agents knows yours. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
Shakeem, get in here. Take your razor, yep. All right, up and down, never side to side, Shakeem, you got it? Come on, get back. Keem, you're second behind your brother. Stay focused. Can't nobody beat you. Ain't nobody beat you.
Hard work, baby. Gonna pay off. We got this.
With the 141st pick, the Seattle Seahawks select.
All right, you got it, Shakeem. All right, let me see.
She kept you safe at night and made awkward situations light. She stayed by your side when your heart was broken. Again and again. She has always been there for you. Now it's your turn. And Northwell Health at Home can help. With medication management, rehabilitation, and assistance with daily care. Let our home care experts meet you where you want to be. At Home by Northwell Health.
We're speaking with Ms. Cassandra Green, and we're talking about the Morris Ford Bridge lynching reenactment, the only one of its kind, right? So go ahead and tell us a little bit about the story.
Okay, the story is, first of all, it's the last unsolved mass lynching in U.S. history. The last unsolved mass lynching in U.S. history. It took place here in Georgia.
Wow.
Monroe, Georgia. 2 African-American couples were lynched, shot. Remember that lynching is not always about hanging. They intended to hang the one black man, but they decided to hang everybody that was with him. So they killed the 2 women and the 2 men on that day.
Now, were they murdered from being hung or from being shot? Okay.
Shot.
Okay.
They brought the rope to hang Roger, and who was one of the black men. They brought the rope to hang him, and then one of the women, Mae Murray Dorsey, she said, "I know you, I recognize you." And when she said that, they said, 4 dead niggas is just as good as 1 dead nigger.
Wow.
So they ended up killing all of them.
Wow. Wow. So why do the lynching reenactment?
The lynching reenactment is important because, first of all, it's our history. And if we don't deal or talk about our history, we're deemed to repeat our history. We know that. That's been said, and it's true. And also the fact that these are unsolved murders. Family members deserve to have some type of justice.
Closure.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, because when you see the reenactment, even some of the family members that have come, we've had people to pass out during the lynching. We've had people to cry out. My actors, they cry, a lot of them, at the end. I cry because even though I've done it for 10 years now, it's an emotional thing to know that these people, it's almost like when you, because we actually do it on the ground where they died.
Oh.
Yeah.
The exact location?
On the field where they died. We do that on the field where they died. So it's almost like their spirits are saying, y'all here, but we still don't have justice.
Right.
And for me, that is a pushing force for me to keep doing the reenactment.
Right. Wow. Wow. So you said you were actually in the reenactment
No,
yourself?
I direct.
You just directed?
I directed.
Okay, and you've been directing it how long?
10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, this year would be my 11th year.
Okay, so how do you get your actors for that?
Now, when I first started, and still now, it's difficult to get whites to do it. I have some whites that have committed to do it, that have been doing it since they started it 13 years ago. I've only done it 10, but they've been doing it the entire 13 years because they're committed to it. But people feel like you're a part of the problem if you talk about it now, because they say it's so long ago, why bring it up? But if we want racial reconciliation,
You have to talk about it.
You don't get racial reconciliation without talking about
Right.
whatever the issue is.
So this is not in our history books?
This is not in our history books. No.
Wow.
You can find it, in Georgia history somewhere, and now there are a lot of books, out about it, but no.
Wow.
It's not in history books. Who wants you to know that there were thousands of African Americans killed in Georgia or wherever? Because it taints their history, it taints their image.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, now I understand when Martin Luther King was assassinated on April the 4th, and on the day of his assassination, they actually walk on that bridge.
On Dr. King's birthday, Representative Tyrone Brooks has set a march where you go and you march from the beginning of the road that leads to where the bridge is.
Okay.
And so it's about, a mile and a half, 2 miles. And people walk from the beginning of that road down to the
that
bridge.
Okay. And then on July 25th is when the actual reenactment is.
Is when because that is actually the actual date is July 25th. We hold the reenactment the last Saturday of July because people want to come, so you need to have it on the weekends when more people are available. But the actual date of the murders were July 25th, and the crazy thing is Dorothy Malcolm, her birthday, she was turning 20 years old the day that they lynched them.
Oh my God.
It was her 20th birthday. All of the victims, Malcolm, George, Roger, Dorothy, they were all under 35 years of age.
Right. And one of the wives or one of the females was pregnant.
She was pregnant.
So with that, would that be, 4 were lynched? Would that be actually 5? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And it's important for us to remember these lives because, first of all, they were innocent.
Right.
Even Roger, the fight that he had gotten in with the farmer that ended him in jail, which ended him with them wanting to lynch him, was because he felt like the white guy was having sex with his wife, which was very common. Let's remember that. When slavery was over, a lot of blacks stayed on the farms, and they worked the farms and lived on the farms. And a lot of black women were taken advantage of because of that. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But he was just bold enough to go to him and say, hey, you're touching my wife. And it did not end up well for them.
Yeah. And the wife was never questioned about it?
She was questioned. She said no, but any black woman is going to say no because she doesn't want her husband to do something that could get him killed.
Right.
Can I tell you a little short?
Yeah, go ahead. Actually, give us a moment.
Okay.
We're going to come right back and you can talk to us about that. We'll be right back. More with Ms. Cassandra Green and our point of view up close and personal. We'll be right back.
Get up! This is where a kid fell down and a champion got up.
This is where shoes to fill became footsteps to follow.
The Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry.
This is where ego was laid to rest. And humility rose in its place. But my mind is where every challenge I've ever faced has been won or lost.
There's a whole lot of different opportunities out there. Don't fear to fail. And you learn from your experiences. Then you learn how to become the best version of you, and you learn what you really like. You're the one who decides your fate. Just stay focused.
Welcome back. Once again, we're talking to Ms. Cassandra Green, and we're talking about the reenactment of the Moore Ford Bridge lynching. And when we left, you were getting ready to say something about the the state. You were going to make a statement.
I was just going to tell a short story about another lynching that took place in Georgia, in Cartersville, Georgia, because a white man was sexually assaulting his maid. The woman was his maid, and her husband went and spoke to him to talk to him about him, raping his wife. And he killed both him and the man that was with him, and there was never any kind of anything done. because he had done that. And the entire town knew that he sexually assaulted black women. But we have to remember that our lives, just like now, especially black women, we're not valued the way that we should. And all of that took place. Moores Ford Bridge really took place because of a total disrespect for black women.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now we're going to switch up a little bit because I understand you're going to the Sundance Festival.
Woohoo!
Yay! Good job. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes.
I know you're excited about it.
Yeah. We Moores Ford Bridge lynching has been on several media platforms: NBC, CBS, Time Magazine, NPR. BBC, The Guardian. We've been DW, Deutsche Weiss out of Germany. So we have covered, internationally. And Jackie Olive, who is a filmmaker, came a couple of years ago and said, hey, I want to do this documentary, and I want to make Moores Ford Bridge the leading story in the documentary. Wow. So the documentary has been completed. It's being premiered at Sundance Film Festival, and they're flying me to Utah. And yes, so I will be in Utah at the Sundance Film Festival on January the 24th, and I will be talking about Moores Ford Bridge lynching on a platform with international actors, producers, directors from around the world.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome. So where do you see yourself taking this? What's the next level?
Yeah. So the next thing, it's a reenactment right now. I'm going to do the play because I feel like people are always saying, listen, we don't want it to just be July, that one time in July. Yeah. Could you do it like in Atlanta where more people can see it? So I've written the play. So we're going to do the play, and my prayer is that for someone to see the panel discussion and say, hey, I'll do this as a film as well.
Well, that would be good. Yeah. Now, we're going to go back a little bit. I had asked you, how do you get your actors or actresses? Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. How do you pick them?
So I used to, I'm an actress myself. So I've done, a lot of shows, and I do a lot of BG, and I've done some lead stuff. But when I'm on set, I'm always talking to people. I'm always, trying to make connects. And so all of the actors in Moores Ford Bridge, other than the ones that have been with it for years, like we have Jenny and Bob Kane, a white couple, that they've been doing it for 13 years. And he is a college professor, and he's amazing. And then we have Wade Marlborough, a white guy. He plays the head Klansman, amazing. He's been doing it for like 10, 11 years. So, and he's a reporter. He's a reporter. And then we have Walter Reeves, who plays Governor Eugene Talmadge, who is considered one of the most racist governors in the South during that time. And his statue, he has 2 statues down at the state capitol, Georgia State Capitol, which I hate. I hate that. I'm just being honest. To see his statue down there, knowing the type, was his speech not long before the Malcolms and the Dorseys were killed. In his speech, he said, "Niggas may vote in this election because that's what they're saying." He said, "But if you re-elect me, governor, this time, niggas won't vote in the next election." That's the type of man he was. That's the type of man he was. So, so yeah, it's a powerful story, and so I get my actors from being on set with them. I have some of in fact, the young man Darius Bradshaw that plays Roger Malcolm. We found a picture of Roger, and they actually look like they can be family. It's scary.
Wow.
Yeah, they actually look like they could be related. So it was a perfect choice, and he is a powerful actor. And I just really appreciate him, and Lisa Searcy, and some of the other people that have done it over the years.
Okay, so you said you've been doing it for 10 years?
10 years.
Okay, but there was someone who was doing it before you? They
There
did it for
was-
3 years?
They did, yeah, there was a white female that did it before me for 3 years, and she decided that she didn't want to do it anymore. From what I hear, she didn't want to make it and keep it as real as it was because she felt like it was too overpowering for people. It doesn't. To me, the more powerful it is, if people cry, I've done my job.
So what makes you think that you're a better director than a white person would be directing this?
Well, I don't feel like I'm a better director, but I think my perspective of what took place, and you know what I'm saying, is different from her perspective. So I'm not better. I'm sure she was great at what she did, but I believe that my perspective brings it at another level. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just me. That's just my belief.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So, wow. So, how long do you plan on, continuing with the reenactment?
Not long.
No, you're ready to retire from it now?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
would like for somebody fresh to come in and take it and do it, and maybe they can bring something to it that I haven't. I feel like I've taken it to a great place, and I'll do it this year, I'm sure. Because we're so close now, it'll be in July, and I actually will start rehearsals in the next few months. So I want to do that. But I believe that, yes, because I'm doing the play and because I desire to do it as a film, I can pass it on to someone else to take it from there.
Okay. So, speaking of the film, are you starting on that or in, pre-production of it?
Everything is ready. Everything is done. I just need to get the investors. That's
okay.
why going to Sundance is major for me. I want someone to come to me and say, "Hey, this will make a great film," because we know it'll make a great film. All of the elements of a great film, and I'm willing to back it.
Okay. Okay. So, do you have any other projects that you're working on right now?
I'm actually working on my TV show, which is
Oh.
called Miss Fanny's Neighborhood.
Okay.
It's the story of an African-American female that actually fights crime in her neighborhood. It's I call it a comedy drama because it has humorous aspects, but I'm a civil and human rights activist for over 30 years. So I take stories that I've dealt with over my 30 years in activism, human and civil rights activism, and I use those stories to bring those stories to the hood, and Miss Fanny deals with it.
Okay. Okay. So, when can we expect this to come out?
We're hoping by the beginning of the summer
Okay.
that we'll be out there.
Okay, so is it going to be on the big screen or is it going to be on
No,
TV?
this is a TV
or-
series. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's a TV series.
So you're hoping it gets picked up by a network?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. No, we know we're going to be picked up by.
There you go.
Hello, somebody.
There you go.
got. We speaking that thing now.
All right, put it out in the universe, put it in the universe.
So yeah, it's the vision that was given to me, and I believe that whenever God gives you a vision, He brings it to full fruition.
There you go.
Yes,
There you go.
yes.
So would you like to give out your social media information so
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
if someone
Yeah.
would have some questions, they can
Yeah.
ask you?
Yes, you can actually look up Moores Ford Bridge lynching on Facebook. We have a Facebook, so just look for Moores Ford Bridge lynching, and you see two of our pages will pop right up.
Okay.
You can look at my page, Pastor Cassandra, and you can see all of the things that I'm doing as far as media type stuff is
Okay.
on that page. You can look up my page for Miss Fanny's Neighborhood, which is the TV show. You can look up that page and find things, and then we're at Miss Fanny's Neighborhood, for Twitter, and I think it's at Moores Ford Bridge for Moores Ford Bridge.
Okay. That's great. Well, thank you so very much for joining
Absolutely. It's
us.
been a
I really
pleasure.
appreciate it. It was enlightening, because there's a
been a
lot of things
pleasure.
I didn't understand about it.
Yes.
Now that we spoke about it, now I understand it more. It was an awesome experience. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I just want to thank you all for being with us, and just remember, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to it, share it, like it, leave us comments. As Miss Green said, go to her page and like it and make comments. Make comments if you need to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And just remember that everything you heard and everything we said was our point of view. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.